All right, so let's start with the Dodgers and the Phillies. The Phillies finally showing some life last night, clubbing some massive home runs at the hands of Kyle Schwarber, who I think that ball is still landing. Hit one absolutely into orbit last night and finally broke out of his slump as well. He was not, having a great series. But, Jenks, I think the question is this. Like, the Phillies looked good last night, but they're down in this series 2-1. And my question is this. Can you hold down the Dodgers for that many games in a row? Because it feels like to me that this Dodgers lineup is not going to be silenced 2 nights in a row.
No, I think I'm going to go with the Dodgers tonight. It's minus 120. It's a cheap price. And the Dodgers have only lost 2 straight at home twice this season. That's it. That's it. That's the list. And also, as good as Christopher Sanchez has been, he's faced the Dodgers 3 times this season, so they have seen him. And he's been okay. He's been average at best if you go back and look at his performances. And also, the Dodgers get Roki Sasaki tonight, who they can use in the bullpen, as opposed to last night when they used Clayton Kershaw, who got roughed up in a big way. That didn't really work out. It just feels like the Dodgers, kind of, I don't want to say they gave the Phillies one. They didn't give it away. But everything is coming together for a win tonight at minus 120. So it's a good price. You've got an advantage with Tyler Glasnow, I believe. And I think the Dodgers are going to finally close things out.
I think so, too. Just because it feels like this Dodgers lineup, it almost feels like it's matchup proof. I understand yesterday they couldn't string together a ton of runs, but that was the only game in the postseason where they didn't go over their team total. This lineup is just inevitable. So it just feels to me where either you play a Dodgers team total or you just play the Dodgers on the money line, because it does feel like the Dodgers are the more trustworthy offense. Because, we saw a 1-game sample size where the Phillies top of the order actually produced. Last night we saw that. But, Jenks, doesn't this kind of have shades of what we saw in, the Blue Jays-Yankees series, where, the Yankees have, one great game where they look like they've put it all together, and then the next game they go, quietly off into the night?
Yeah, I agree with that. And, when you look at different teams, it's easy to get caught up in the Yankees mystique, for example. But I think at the end of the day, the Blue Jays were just better. They were just better. The pressure is always going to be more in New York. Right, we're always going to pay more attention to the Yankees, but the Blue Jays were just better. We saw that, and I got caught up in that last night. Look at this series. The Phillies are a good team, and they've been really close. They've been really close the past few postseasons, but the Dodgers are just better. They're a better team, and so the Phillies were going to get theirs at some point. Schwarber was amazing last night. Actually, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper were all fantastic last night. 7 of 13. So, they had the 2 home runs, I believe 5 RBI, 4 runs scored, something like that. So they finally delivered. But that said, the Dodgers can match them, and they have a pitching advantage tonight. The Dodgers are just the better team here. So the series price is still Dodgers minus 325. Wouldn't touch that. But you can get the Dodgers tonight, I believe, to close things out at minus 120. I think it's a good price.
What about a total here? Because I think my initial read was, if you believe in the Phillies at all, if they can even contribute to the total, I think the over 8's a solid play. But it's also an elimination game.
Yeah.
And it's also a decent pitching matchup. Christopher Sanchez v. Tyler Glasnow, that's a good starting pitching matchup. And they will have Duran coming in at some point because, the season's on the line for the Phillies. They're going to use their best arms in this one tonight. So I go back and forth on that one. I go back and forth on the money line just because it feels like the Dodgers are the play to me, but also the top of the lineup is good for the Phillies, and it would make sense if they, I don't know, look good in back-to-back games. So are you playing either of these? I know we've given our leans, but are either of these making the card for you?
Maybe. I'm leaning Dodgers. And part of this is just a gut feeling. I know I said it earlier, but the Dodgers don't lose many back-to-back games at home. They just don't, twice all season. So that and these bats, the Dodgers bats, they didn't go cold, but they weren't what we normally see. And I think tonight they probably get back on track. And even Dave Roberts said afterwards, we're fine. Like, we're not worried about this. We feel fine, like we can still close things out. We're not worried at all. And I don't think he was just sort of using managerial speak. I feel like the Dodgers feel that way, and they know they're the better team here. And I'm just not going to trust the Phillies. But it's great that they came alive last night if you're a Phillies backer. But throughout the season, the Phillies have been much better swinging the bat at home than they are on the road. They're too good to be shut out completely for an entire series, but I'm also not going to be completely surprised if those bats that, heated up last night suddenly start to go cold again.
Yeah, it just feels to me like if we're giving betting advice on this show, I want the larger body of sample size and like the more ammo. And it just feels like more ammo goes in the favor of the Dodgers. So like if I were to give out a side, I want the most logic, and I feel like it would be the Dodgers.